How's everybody doing? Can you guys hear me? All right. You guys got to bear with me here. I'm trying something new. Hopefully, this will work out. Can you guys hear me? All right. You guys got to bear with me here. I'm trying something new. Hopefully, this will work out. Can you guys hear me? Hey, Dwight, how's it going? I'm using this new Streamlabs application and trying to figure out exactly what to do here. And do you guys see me yet by chance? Okay, let's try this here. For some reason, I'm not showing up on the feed here. Okay. Well, hopefully I can get this working. Okay. He said, well, sort of. Okay, I'm trying my best here to get this figured out exactly what I'm doing wrong. All right, there we go. Okay, can you guys see me now? Oops, lost your volume. When in doubt, reboot. That's right, Rick. All right, so you guys can see me, right? See you in here. Okay. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure all of this out exactly. Oh, well, let me jump back over this way. All right, so as you can see, I've been playing around with some stuff, just trying to get more advanced with these live videos and stuff. No audio, no audio. Volume a little low. Okay. All right, how's that? Is that better? You gotta bear with me too. I've got a flu of some sort, so it hasn't been the best of couple days. Can you guys hear me better now? Better. Okay. I can actually bump it up a little bit more. Okay. All right. So what I wanted to do today, as I was progressing on the binge work, the sub road bed, and the road bed, I found a mistake that I've made somewhere, and I kind of wanted to share it with everybody to kind of give everybody an understanding that mistakes are going to happen, and it's better to kind of double check. Um, and honestly, I double checked myself, and I went over it probably 3 or 4 times, and probably on the 4th time, I finally figured out what was going on. I'm going to try to angle a little better. Alright, is that better, guys? I can keep adjusting, so let me know. Alright, that should be really good there. That's almost to the end. Alright, how's that? That's all the way up into the red, so that should be pretty good. Good? Okay. Hey Rick, hey Barn, Dave, Dwight, Grandpa, how's everybody doing? Michael, try to make sure I didn't miss anybody yet. And if I have missed you, I'll get back to you, no problem. Alright, so I'm going to angle the camera a little bit here. So this is the section here that I'm working on. And on my end, it actually shows a small screen, so hopefully it's showing more of a larger picture for you guys. But this is my reversing loop here, and let me angle this way a little bit. So as you can see, this is my reversing loop here that connects. And what I noticed was the grade, if you guys remember back probably 3 or 4 videos ago, maybe even a little bit longer, that this grade was really steep. I think I even made a test video of it. It was like a 4% grade. Just wasn't going to work. So as I came in and buttoned everything up, all of this is secured, attached to the bench work, ready to go. I've got the reversing, or I've got the main peninsula loop in. That's ready to go, but I wasn't happy with this, and basically what I found was this is still like a 2.5, 3% grade, and I'm not happy with that at all. So, and I don't think this is going to work the way I planned it, guys. So let me see what I can do here to make this a little better for you guys. I want to make it so you guys can kind of watch as I go along. So bear with me, please. Trying to move some stuff around. Still not enough for you guys to see, huh? How well can you guys see that? So on my screen, it looks like you guys can only see probably running down to this these risers here. Is that right? Or can you see a little bit lower? You can see pretty good there. Correct. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to lower these down I'm going to probably start at probably 1/8 of an inch on each one, and I'm going to come down 1/8 of an inch, which is going to make my reversing loop run a little bit longer. So as I get to where the turnout was supposed to be, I'm going to have to recorrect all of that. But I figured I'd take this time. I know some of the guys were asking how I do my measurements and stuff like that, and for me, and I'm not saying this is right by any means, but I do it 2 different ways to get my percentage. I know on this railroad I want a 2% grade. So basically, I've just got to hold 1/4 of an inch of a bubble to get my my 2%. And basically that's and right there would be a 2%. So you can see I'm off a little bit. So the first 2 risers are going to stay the same, and then I'm going to adjust the next 5 risers to see what exactly is going on and where I got off on my calculations. Now, I may not have actually gotten off. I just may have assumed that I was at 2%, and truly I wasn't. Down to the rise, so we see what you see. Okay, great. That's good. So, basically, for a 2%, I'm going out 100 inches. So for every 50 inches, I need to rise 1 inch. So in 100 inches, I'm going to be rising 2 inches. And that's going to be my 2% grade. And now, of course, you can fluctuate that. If you wanted to do a 1% grade, it would be a 1/2 inch and 50 inches and 1 inch and 100 inches. And you can use your level. And the reason why I like using the level, for me, this is the truest form of measurement versus like the tape measure and that sort of thing. And the reason why I say that is because this is going to compensate for every flaw that's in the bench work, because no piece of wood is straight. And even if you have everything completely level, there's always an imperfection somewhere with the material that you're using, and that can throw your measurements off if you're using a tape measure. Now, I have used a tape measure with some of these, and that's where I'm thinking where I got off. Because, you know, no one piece of wood is straight, narrow, like that. The level is going to be your most accurate measurement here when you're trying to do or percentage grade here. And the best thing about these are, if you're trying to do like in a 4-foot span, you can put a 1/2 inch block, which would give you exactly what you need for a 2% grade, and then you just go through that. And that's what I've done before. I had it at a, believe it or not, this was a 4% before, and I knew that was a little too steep, and that's why I'm redoing all of this. So I just kind of wanted to show you everybody. I was going to do an actual video and then just record it, but I thought maybe this would be a little better. So, I love the cog. Good. That's okay. Make it no sense. Sorry, I'm just doing some reading here. Go 4 foot at a 2%, 2 foot at a 3, and another 2 at another 3%. It takes some stress off the logos. Yeah. The big thing that I'm facing here is when I come off of the reversing loop and I make my climb up, because where the level's sitting right now, that is my main line. So it's got to connect back to that. I can't bring my main line down any, because then I'm going to lose my height over on this other side of this peninsula wall to be able to get me up to over there where you see the bench work at on the upper level. So basically, let me turn the camera again, well, the laptop, I guess, and maybe I can get this right for you guys, who knows. So this section right here, this is the section that I'm going to have to play with, because right here at this point this is level. This is where the reversing section and the main loop meet. So basically what I'm going to have to do is probably bring that back to this area here, or bring that back here, which is okay. I'm good with that. So this piece here is going to have to be recut. Well, not this particular piece, but I'm going to have to refit a new piece in here and figure this out exactly. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. I probably won't get too much more of that done, but basically what's going to happen is this is going to drop this number 2" here and this 2.5" here. They're going to both drop 1/8 of an inch, and then this one's going to drop probably 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to kind of see what kind of play that's going to give me, and if need be, I can drop this down 1/8 of an inch as well, and then that would bring me, by the time I get here, that would bring me level, and then that means I would just have to get a curved turnout for the reversing loop and the mainline loop. No, I'm actually in I got a 12 by 20 shed that I use for my trading room now. Is the can you guys hear the heater in the background by chance? Yeah, it's not a bad size. I'd love to have a little bit more length, but wouldn't we all, right? But yeah, this is pretty nice. I've done a lot of work, a lot of money out here running the electric and all. I don't have any feet at all. I have it all angled brace, Michael. Okay. Now, one of the things that I've noticed since I've been out here, and I've been out here for about 2.5 years now, is I'm gonna break down probably this upcoming fall, and I'm gonna add in a mini split unit, and then that way I can kind of leave that running all the time between the AC and the heater. Because right now I have an AC unit in the window, which is fine, but then I have a ceramics style heater, which is good. It's got a lot of protection and all, but I'm kind of wary of leaving it on all night. Now, there's been times where I've left it on all day, but I really don't want to leave it on all night and running all the time. So I'm going to spend the money and get a split unit for out here. And then that way it will be 100% temperature controlled out here. So, getting back to that, and I'll check periodically, guys. I'm not trying to ignore anybody, but working off the laptop, I will check back and forth. But I noticed this the other day when I came in here and I started getting ready to, I was sanding the wood, getting ready for preparation for the roadbed, and I realized I was just not where I want to be yet. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to probably drop everything down 1/8 of an inch, and that'll get me down to like 2.5, 2.25, something like that, which I'm fine with. And what I'll do, and I'll move this around for you guys. All right, so we're going on another rotation here, gentlemen. All right, let me see. All right, you guys should be able to see that good, right? See, which way do I need to go? This way. I'm using my wife's Surface, and the one thing she told me was not to drop it, and I can see me dropping this thing. Alright. So, guess you can see that a little bit. You can see my hand over here. make a hole in the wall. I would love to. Actually, as crazy as this sounds, I've actually thought about pushing that back wall out, raising the roof, and extending out eventually, but I don't know what I'll do. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to take all of these off, and I'm just going to basically start over again, because I want to make sure that it's right. And as you guys can see, what I did last time was I got my measurements and I kind of marked it, and then I used the level afterwards, came back and made sure, but I used that as my base mark here. So now what I'll do is let me find my little torpedo level. And that's the biggest thing right now, is trying to find everything, because I've been putting things up and basically hiding things from myself. But yeah, this bench work is pretty secure. It's not going anywhere. I took all the play out of it. Even on the half wall, I had to brace that up some. All right. Yeah, the finished basement would be nice once you get it done. That can account for a lot of room, especially if you get everything planned out beforehand. And now this is the kind of tedious part, guys, and I'm very we'll use the word anal when it comes to things like this. I want to make sure my layout's correct, and I will literally sit there and second guess myself on everything. But I go back with my torpedo level, make sure the riser itself is level, so when the sub road bed lays on it, everything is good to go. Alright, so now I have my starting point. I did drop it down. What I did is I went below that line on the opposite end, on the top end on it, so I know it's roughly about 1/8 of an inch. And still level, and that's the big thing, is you want to make sure everything is level as you go. A lot of you know that. And for those of you who are wondering, I'm doing this because I've had a couple people ask me how I do my risers and that sort of thing. And so this is pretty much how I do my risers. And now, of course, I've lost my 2-foot level. Nope, there we go. And this is where I use my level. Come in handy. So right there, I'm just now splitting that line. Too much. Okay, right where I want to be. Now I'm going to come back and adjust my riser to make sure everything's level. And it is now. Perfect. So there we are. We have 2 of them done so far. Alright. So as you can see, maybe, hopefully, well, you can't really see. I'll bend that down a little bit. So now I have daylight. About 1/4 of an inch between the first and the third here. And the second one has about, like I said, 1/4 of an inch of daylight. So I know I need to move that one down. So we're going to do that next. Later, Michael. Have a good one, man. Yeah, this is probably not the most exciting live stream. But if 1 or 2 people can get a little something out of this, then hey, why not, right? Okay. Alright. So I'm exactly where I want to be now. And that is close. And believe it or not, as you do these, if you're doing some bench work like this, just by eyeballing it, you'll get it close to being level. And that's the good thing about it is eventually, once you do it enough, you kind of get an idea of where it needs to be. We're close. And then you can adjust as you go. And I slipped and moved, and now I've got to reposition. Grab a different screw here. And I always run my stuff in kind of slow so it doesn't move around much. And the reason why I had to get a different screw as you'll see here, I cut the end off of this one, and I did that to kind of protect little man as he comes running under here. I don't want him to take and bump his head. So I had a whole box of these. I think they're 1 5/8 inch. And so they just stick out enough. So what I do is I come back with the Dremel and I cut it. And that's why I did that. I know, Rick, I do too. So that's why I went and got a different screw. Trying to put this back in flat like that with no point. It kind of walks all over the place. So, uh-oh. Don't tell her I spent any money. I really, honestly, as bad as I'm feeling, I shouldn't even be out here, but I am, so hey. So, if you can see, I'll switch around here real quick, guys. And I don't know how well you can see that, but I'm a little over, probably close to a ½ inch there difference now, just from those 3 that I moved and readjusted. That's how much of a difference I'm at right now. So I'll have to move this one and this one. This one here, since it's elevated, this bench work, this one will come down probably right at that elevation. I may even actually do away with that one. Actually, what am I doing here? I can keep you guys like that. That'll work. So I'll pull this one out, and I'll do that the same way as I'll just do it by the level. It's going to give you the best accurate. Alright, so that's the line. So that like so, and that's going to be close to right where I need to be. So all right, so we'll go with that. We'll secure one in place for now, come back and level it up. Okay. And we're good right there. All right. Possible to turn the laptop around. Let's see. Let me let's see where we're at. Is that kind of what you mean? Is that a little better? Ouch. Oh. Good Lord. All right, is that better, guys? So now I'm working this way with the laptop, so that should be better, right? Alright, so now we're going to get away from the 2-foot level just for a second. I kind of want to just judge everything where I'm at. And right now, from 1 to 4 here is great. I'm still at a little bit of a difference between 1 and 5. And that's okay. And that's a huge jump. That's probably close to an inch. That's roughly 5/8 of a difference right there. So, what I think I'll do is get rid of this riser here. All right. Yeah, I also smashed my finger in the process, which wasn't too good. All right. And at this point, I'm just kind of seeing what I'm going to like. I think that's a much better grade. Much better. What I'd like to do is, if I can possibly do it, and I think I will, just like that. That's an even better grade. And everything touches where it should be. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to cut a spacer. And I'll take this here, cut it, so it slips right in here and it sits level with that. That's not a big deal, just to give me a little extra support. And then plus I can take that sub road bed and drill right down into it and hold it in place. Yeah, I mean, I like that much better. I even like, and I think what I'm going to have to do is take this entire section, this entire framework, and drop it down a 1/2 inch. Yeah, I like that much better. And then, if I do that, I have to reposition all of my risers, which is not a big deal. I know what these ones all stay level, so they're pretty simple. And the reason they stay level, this portion of the main line has no rise, and that's because if this was still rising, then this would take even longer. The reversing loop would take even longer to catch up to the main line. So I just decided to keep that level, and so that won't be so bad there, because then I can come back and then just do do that through those. So in order to make this exactly the way I want it, I think this is going to work out the best here. So right now, if I leave it like this and I drop this down, right now I would be right at an inch. So I've got roughly 6-7 feet that I got to climb an inch, which is possible, and not much of a incline. So that's very doable. Hey CDP, am I still froze? You guys have an issue still or no? Or I should say, am I still having issues? Okay, so that's level. So to redo that bracing and then that bracing. I'm doing all right. I'm kind of underneath the weather. I'm got some type of cold or something. My son's had it, and I was the lucky recipient of it now. So I think that's what I'm going to do there. I'm going to drop this down a 1/4 of an inch, this framework, and so from this point, I have 5 feet. I don't know where I got 7 feet from, but I basically have 5 feet to climb a full inch to get level now with my main line. And I'm glad that I caught this out. Now, this is one of the reasons why I stopped doing my second levels, because I wanted to make sure that I knew exactly where I needed to be. And all I'm doing now is taking the bracing out, which you guys can't see, but I'm sure you can hear. So, like I said, this piece here is going to come down. It'll take me a couple minutes to get it down because I've got it secured pretty good. So, actually. Alright, I might be okay. Well, I don't think I will. I think what's going to have to happen is I'm going to have to cut this, because I don't think I have enough of a gap, so I am going to have to cut that. Oh, that sucks. Well, it is what it is though at this point. Yeah, I like that much better. Much better transition. I can't speak. Transition. Seems to be okay now. Okay. But actually think I might be alright. And the piece that I was going to use, I have actually underneath the laptop, so I can't really move the laptop right now. But what I'm doing is I'm seeing how much of a percentage I have now by picking up all my levels, see exactly where I'm at. And probably roughly an inch. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I want to make sure. So let's go right to an inch. So I am at 5/8 of a bubble, or I mean to level. So a bit over 2%. So I could probably live with that. Leave that like this. And then run my next piece, which, like I said, is over there, which is a longer piece, which it wouldn't need to be joined, and then keep my risers the same. I could still drop this one down, this one, and then this one, and then this one would the fifth one will be level. So I'm actually moving back a foot. I could even actually move back 2 feet and still be okay, and that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. I'll just have to reposition the actual turnout and the way I was going to do it, because if you guys remember in my last couple videos, this section here turned like this. The turnout was going to sit here, and then the track was going to go like that on down around the peninsula curve. So I have to redo that. That's okay. I'd rather redo it now and make sure everything is good to go. But I think I'm good. I think I'm good. Anybody got any plans for the weekend? Yeah, naps in mine too at some point. Like I said, I probably shouldn't even be out here with the way I'm feeling, but I wanted to get out here. I found this, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday night. I came across it, and it's not a problem. Don't get me wrong, I could have gotten the trains up here, but it would have been more taxing on the locomotives, and I just wouldn't have been happy with it. So I wanted to go ahead and change it, and it's one of those things that's just going to sit there and eat at you until you get it right, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, is get it right. I needed to get it right. Okay, so that's good. So I think, all in all, I think I'll be okay now. But as you can see, there is a huge difference right now in the levels. And that's fine. That's just going to make for an interesting run. So right there, at this point, the reversing loop is currently 2 3/8 lower than the main line, which is fine, because at this point it gets a little higher, and then so on and so forth. So I'll be much better off now. I like this. This is more of a gradual climb. It's very pleasing to the eye, which I like. And I needed that. I wanted something so I could run the maximum of locomotives. It keeps coming off, so you meaning it keeps derailing, Dwight? Because if it keeps coming off in one spot, it's it's got to be a I'd say probably like a kink or a imperfection with the track, or maybe even a piece of solder or glue. I mean, it could be a number of things. But if it's in the same spot every time, is it at a turnout or is it just a section of track? Hey, William. Yeah, then that's what it is. It's probably some solder hitting somewhere, and once the train runs over it, it's just kicking it off. Just remember, Dwight, you need very little solder to make the wire stick to the rails. And hopefully you're not having issues with your soldering iron. Anything, if the solder's beaten up and all, it might need, it's on a curve. Is it flex track or is it like the snap track? Because this track alignment tool, basically it's a gauge. You run it around your track and see if I can do this without screwing anything up. But basically, Dwight, you take it, you got the N scale on one side and you got HO on the other side. It's flex, yeah, it's probably all it is. And then you run it, and then it just kind of helps making sure everything runs smoothly, or will run smoothly, I should say. And it's really good for flex track, like especially like the Pico track, because that's a little stiffer. So when you're doing your curves, come in there, and I'm on my curve section now of my lift out, and it does really well. So I think they're like $3 or $4. Most hobby stores or online stores have them. I can't remember the exact name, but they're actually really nice to have. And it just makes sure everything stays within gauge. So pick yourself up one of those and, kind of run it over to the track every now and then. And that'll kind of tell you where your problem is. But my guess, if it's right where you soldered the feeders, you got a little bit of flux, or if you used flux. If you didn't use flux, then it's more than likely it's just a some solder that got up in there and got in the way. That's all. I tell you, I'm not a real big fan of these live streams like this when I'm doing the doing bench work and all. I think the video aspect is better for that. I don't, but I will find it for you. Let me see here. Might be able to pull it up for you real quick. It's just basically a track alignment tool, but you can get them too. I'm not sure if you can see that. But this one here, that's for soldering too, but it's got your rotary rail. And the good thing is when you're soldering, now this one's not like that, but when you're soldering your joints, you roll that over it, and then you put your you can put your soldering iron down in between, and it'll keep it from bouncing around. So that's good. I don't see an actual name though. I am looking for you though, but I don't see it. It's now if you go to Micromark, it's a deluxe 7-piece HO gauge track lane set for $34, but I didn't buy the set. But you get a ballaster. Let's see what this is called. Track tool. All they call it is a track tool. And then you can get a parallel tool too. Dwight, see? This parallel tool will separate your track exactly how you need it if you have two tracks running side by side. So, I mean, it's a nice little kit. You get a ballasting tool. You get the soldering tool, which is still a track alignment as well. You get the parallel alignment, and then you get, well, there's another piece to it. There's a couple more. And then this helps you make your cuts if you want, but that's what I have right there, but it's a track alignment tool. And this is your flex track alignment tool, and that is your rail radius tool right there, but you really don't need all that. But yeah, I purchased that individually, and I'm trying to see if it comes up with an actual name for it. And I don't see anything for it. If you go to Micromart, or Train World. If you go to Train World and look up track alignment tools, you'll find it there. But if you go to Micromark, that's MICROMARK, and then .com, and you'll find it there. But Train World, that's where I do a lot of my shopping at. And then Amazon, but it's just a track alignment tool, and there's several different ones. I don't know if you can see that, Dwight. Deluxe 7-piece HO gauge. I think I cut you out of the window a little bit. Track, and then just Micromark. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. Dwight, if you need more information on it, just send me a message, man, and I'll get it to you. But alright, guys. You all have a great weekend. And I'll be doing another video here, probably an actual video soon. Get this up and running. But you guys have a good night. Or a good day, I should say. Have a good one, guys.